Okay, I think we are live. I think we're just about live. Hello everybody watching. If you're new for the first time, welcome. If you're an old hand at this, well, you know how it goes. So in this seminar, I will be aiming to teach you how to create a very quick, very simple color scheme for your Dark Eldar collection. And for this, I'll be using the Green Stuff World color shift paints. If you've never experienced these before, well, you buy a set and you quickly become obsessed by them. I sure have. I've been agonizing over weeks whether to go for my traditional scheme or whether to go for something that I've had in the cooker for a long time, a traditional black and red Dark Eldar Force, or maybe this color shift paint. I'm leaning more towards the color shift paint just because of how immediate it is, how quick the paint scheme is, and just how cool and unusual it looks. I mean, this is like something I've never seen before. So the aim of the seminar, the aim of this tutorial is to show you how to create this scheme on a Venom. We have a jet bike and we also have a Cabalite Warrior. I'm going to see if we can get it done within an hour. So if you are watching live, please feel free to leave a comment. I should be able to see it come up in the live chat. You should see on the screen. If you're new, certainly comment. If you have any questions, it doesn't have to be about this technique I'm showing you today. It could be about any aspect of miniature painting whatsoever. Post up in the comments and we'll see if I have something surrounding me, if I have something here. I'll be able to create a tutorial just on the fly for you. Hey, hiya Mike, how are you? Radio. So, let's get into this. What are color shift paints? Well, they're made by a company called Green Stuff World, and you have to buy them in sets. Currently, I believe there are only 2 sets available. So we have a Color Shift Metal Set 1, which comes with Burning Gold, Cobalt Blue, Psychotic Illusions, which we'll be using today, Toxic Purple, Celestial Azure, and Nebula Copper. The second set, that sound you hear, there's all the paints falling out of that set. So the second set, Color Shift 2, Mystic Gold, Emerald Getaway, Red Goblin, Tropical Green, Storm Surge Green, and Martian Green. And Martian Green is a very nice one to use if you are using Mechanicum forces. Very good for that. Okie dokie. So I've done a couple of test spoons. I've filmed this entire process of painting these spoons. So if you do want a technical video, that will be made available on the Patreon next month. So as you can see, with the color shift paints, they do exactly that. That in the central portion of it, it has a blue tint, and then on the outer rim we have a purple. Martian Green, one of my favorites. Love this color. You have a green central and then a purple outer rim. This is the color we will be using today, Psychotic Illusions. So that sound you hear in the background is my compressor. I think there's a minor leak in there. That's why it goes off every so often. And another thing you will be hearing during these videos is my compressor. I'll also have a hairdryer on the go. I'll also have an air filtration unit on in the background, just for my own health and safety, to make sure all the fumes get sucked out. So very sorry for the ambient noise. Hopefully you should be able to still hear me very clearly. If not, if you need me to repeat anything, please give me a shout. So in preparation for this, I have undercoated a Cabalite Warrior in a black undercoat, and then I've given them a gloss varnish. Now, the Green Stuff World do recommend that you, for the best results, you apply the paint over a gloss black surface. So that's what we're going to go through today with this guy. So the airbrush I'm using is a HPCH Iwata 0.35. You can also see me in the reflection. Hello. Right, I'm going to turn on the air filtration unit. So very sorry about all the loud noises happening around you. So Mike, he's good. Still in the stages of sort of painting. Good stuff. So if you don't know Mike, he's got an amazing White Scars army up at the moment. You can look at that on the Heresy websites. I mean, you've posted up everywhere. And keep posting up as well. We need to see progress on those. Rightio. So the Green Stuff World Psychotic Illusions. Now, unlike other paints, I do not use any thinner in these. They are very, very thin already. So let's try and pop this out on my hand. They are very, very incredibly thin pigmented paints. But they do need a damn good shake. Okay, once you've given it a good shake, make sure the airbrush is on the roll. I'm using 20 psi with my airbrush. I've just put a good amount of the Green Stuff paints, the Green Stuff World Colour Shift paints into the airbrush. So my first layer. As you can see, it's very thin, quite an unsatisfying first coat, but that's what you want. You don't want to instantly build this up in one coat. We need several thin coats built one on top of another to get the nice gradient and to get the nice effect. So that's our first coat. I'm going to pop him off to the side and let's have a look at this thing. Oh, I've already got some off of my thumb. So I've assembled it separately. I just have the top carapace. Okay, let's wind this back ever so slightly. So while I do this, guys, tell me what you're working on. Tell me what projects. Tell me what you think you can use this stuff on. Because it doesn't only have to be Dark Eldar or Eldar in general. Why not go for like a beetle-backed Tyranid force? That would be my dream. Just a black lacquered Tyranid force with some colour shift paints on. I think that would look amazing. Okay, so that's the first coat with my Venom. I'm going to pop him off to the side. And I'm going to look at a jet bike. So I'm going to paint all these three in the stream. And these colour shift paints, it's as simple as this. Just add in several thin coats to develop the tone. And since I got them at the start of the month, I've just been painting everything with them. So next week in the seminar, I will be showing you how to do Black Shields or Chaos Renegades with a different colour scheme and a different colour shift paint. Okay, so we return back to our Cabalite Warrior, and let's concentrate on this fella for a little bit. Okay, second coat. I'm holding the airbrush about so far away. I just want a nice misting effect. I don't want to really heavily pour this on in any particular area. I need a good overall coverage. Now these paints, they can be used through a brush, but personally I found that they respond much better with through an airbrush. A nice even coverage with them. But that's not to say, I mean, next week I will be showing you how to do it with a brush. To speed up the drying process, got this thing. My trusty hairdryer. So you're going to hear another loud annoying sound for a little bit. Sorry about this, guys. Okay. So if you were just working on the one miniature, you can speed up the drying time significantly between layers by just running the hairdryer over it. So let's do that again. Well, we're on the third coat. Anybody counting? Okay, fourth coat. That's my fourth coat. I'm going to pop him off to the side, allow him to dry. Mike asks, how well does it look with a matte varnish over the top? Right, let's have a look. So I rather conveniently have another spoon next to me, as if I had this planned. That's just had a matte varnish on the top. I've glossed the inner surface, but I've just added a matte top coat to this. So let's try giving this a go on the matte surface. That's the first coat. Pop him off to the side. Hit him with the hairdryer. Second coat. Third coat. Fourth coat. So as you see, you still get the colour shift. Still does work. Still very much works. There you go, pop him off to the side. And let's finish off. Yeah, I've run out of paint. So let's finish off the Venom and the jet bike. So any of the watchers out there, are you excited for Adepticon? Any of you going? Any of you there already? Couldn't go this year, unfortunately. Been doing a lot of travel over the past year. I just want to. I don't want to do any more long haul flights. Okay. So just blast this with a hairdryer again. Another coat. So I'm trying to make this coat as even as I possibly can across the entirety of the miniature. Okay, so just before we finish up with this layer, I want to show you a trick, something I've started to develop. Now, the great thing about these paints is that you get this really nice colour shift appearance. The problem is, it doesn't leave that much in the way of highlighting or brush control or brush skill for us. If you edge highlight it with a colour, it will look slightly unusual. So I've been developing something. I've been working something out to try and get over that. So before our final coat of paint, I want us to edge highlight this miniature. So for this, I've got Cobalt Alchemy by Scale 75 and Steel by Vallejo. Pop these on my wet palette. So as you can tell, I've been painting today. Right, bit of Cobalt Alchemy. So this isn't strictly necessary, you don't need to do this stage. If you feel like this technique will liberate you from the edge highlighting, well, you don't need to do this. Personally, I want to refine the lines of the miniature ever so slightly more. So for this, I'm using a Raphael 8404 number 1 brush, and just using the edge of the brush, I'm trying to pick out the edges of the panels. Now we're very fortunate that the Dark Eldar range in general has very, very sharp lines. Very nice sharp lines. That we could develop. Just using the edge of a brush. Weirdly enough, this also works for Martian green. I don't know what it is about the highlighting with the blue, it just works. So Mike, what are you working on at the moment? And anybody else listening, I can see we have a good few listeners. Don't be a lurker. Let me know what you're up to, what you've been working on, what you're looking forward to seeing at Adepticon, if you're going, if you're not, what you're looking forward to seeing come out of it. All the gossip, all the news. Just want to give an edge highlight to all of this. Yeah, I think I've hit the majority of them. Okay, I think I got the majority of them there. Let's try for the Cabalite Warrior. Let's see how quick we can make this. So definitely want to hit the top portions of his armor. Very spiky individuals. Yeah, it's a nice break from Painted Heresy as well. I could do something slightly more fantastical in nature. I could do space elves instead of grim, industrial, savagery warfare. And apparently the Drukhari are getting a new codex soon for 8th, so I'm really looking forward to that coming out. So I'll keep that portion same colour as his armour as well, or her armour, I'm sorry. Let's do an edge highlight here. There you go, that will do me. And what we'll do, we'll just concentrate on the Talos. Talos. We'll just concentrate on the... God, I keep forgetting the name of this. The Venom and the Warrior for now, just for time. because you don't want to see me edge highlight the same thing again and again and again. Okay, so now we have that down. We need to add one more layer of our colour shift paint. Why do we do this? Well, the lighter colour underneath will give luminosity to the colour on top. So I have explained the true metallic technique in a much more detail with the Valdo tutorials that were released last month. In that we went through true metallic techniques and how to get the best from them, contrasting them with matte colours and metallic colours, and how you create metallic washes as well. So if you haven't signed up for the Patreon already and you would like to learn more about developing your own true metallic technique, come check it out. It's $10 a month to get you access to PDFs and the seminar series to watch back. $15 will give you access to everything. And if you were interested in developing your skills a little further along the line, currently there are no spaces for the one-to-one tuition, but hopefully I should open more up at the end of the month. Okay, so we need one more coat with this, just covering up the edge highlight we've just done. Pop off to the side. And there you go, that's those two done. So I'm just going to clean out the airbrush, and while I do, I'm going to look at the comments. Got Mike, not great deal at the minute. I'm in the US, so oh okay. Back here in 3 weeks, back Tuesday to get some Outriders done, nice. And we've got Pete, oh hi Pete. Project currently decanting paints into dropper bottles, but largely clean project desk, as Forge rolls out next week. Forge Bane is out next week. Yeah, well, you will be very, very happy with next month's Patreon. So we've got a couple of Armature Knights coming into the studio. There'll be a full video tutorial up on those next month. And funnily enough, they'll be including colour shift paints in that as well. So Pete, you're going to be a very, very happy man. Okay. Do you have any colour schemes picked out for your own Armature Knights yet, guys? Do you even like the Armature Knights? It'd be cool if we got some heresy rules for them. Love to see what they could do in that system. But I already have a scheme picked out, and I've been a little naughty. I've bought some Mechanicum allies for my Blood Angels as well. It's a slippery slope. With Forge Bane coming out, well, just seemed natural adding a couple of knights to them. I think next month will be the month of the knight. Okie dokie. Right, so we've got... So that's all the airbrushing layers we need. That's it. That's it. It's done for the airbrushing stage. It's going to blast these with the hairdryer. Just to make sure they're fully dry. Okay, now comes the blacking in process. So, let's grab my palette. What did I do with my brush? I got behind my ear, that's what's happening with my brush. Okay. So I'm using black from Formula P3. And I want to blacken the barrel of his gun. So this is very much for a tabletop standard, very tabletop quality. I don't want to spend a whole heap of time on every individual model. I want my scheme to be quick, effective, and get them out ready to do a few slave raids. So I'm also going to pop in the bottles as well. The inside of his knife. I'm going to do his eyes as well. I think that's it for... Oh, it's got a pouch as well. I'll do in black. Now, his feet really should be painted in black, but for this, speed is of the essence with this project. I want this done nice and quick, and I think it's perfectly acceptable to leave in this colour shift paint. But if you did want to paint them in a separate colour, I'll show you how to do it very quickly. So you pop a bit of black on. I have some charmingly named Anthracite Grey by scale 75, and while the paint's still wet, just going to rub it in there. I can do the same with the barrel, so slightly drier, just running the Anthracite Grey across it. Take a touch of white. Just develop the blend. Oh, be helpful if you can see what I was doing. Tell you what, since I'm not using the airbrush anymore, I'll turn this off. You should be able to hear me a lot clearer now. Okay, on the inner core, got some pure white. Just going to roll it. Don't mind if it picks up on the edge. In fact, I need it to give a faux or false glow effect. Okay. So, help if I could hold the miniature. I need one of those Games Workshop holders, I think, just for projects like this. Okay. For the eyes, got a touch of white, just blocking in the eyes. Right. Okay. For the metallics, I'm using cobalt blue and the steel that we used earlier, and I'm just going to roll this over all the metallic aspects of the machinery. So his gun, tip of his gun here, the barrel. Now let's make this a different color. I want this a very cold scheme, so I don't want to introduce any warm colours into this. So this central spine down here, I want to make it silver. Don't want to make it gold. I don't want to make it stand out. Only cool colours. So you can consult your colour wheel, and if you have a halfway decent colour wheel, you can even look one up online to see which colours are cool and which aren't. You can stick solely to, so this is what's known as an analogous colour scheme. I'm only using colours in this, from a certain portion of the colour wheel to give a very intense mood or motion to the viewer, which is handy when you're working on something as stylized as the Dark Eldar. Okay, for this, just running over the top. So I want to make that nice and rusty, I think. I want to make it seem like it's been drained in blood. Okay, for the shadows, I'm using Elendil Violet. By scale 75, I'm going to touch a black. I'm going to roll this into all the shadows. Just to blackline them. Now, I don't want to use oils at this stage, because the oils would spread out and kind of ruin the effect of the colour shift paint. I want to be as precise as I can possibly be with this, so just use the tip of your brush. in the core of her helmet. Sorry if I keep calling this a he. It's very obviously a she. That should see it done. Okay, I'm also going to... Okay, so let's concentrate on the metallics. I've just got some black. I'm going to mix this with some brown leather, again by scale 75, around 50-50. I'm going to roll this over the metallic surfaces I've just done. I want to give it that oily, worn appearance. So let's zoom in a little bit. Sorry for the movement. So if you were just interested in applying this to the Heresy, the emerald green looks amazing as Alpha Legion, that colour shift paint. You may also want to consider using the, I believe it's called Nebula Copper for Thousand Suns, so it gives a really nice colour shift, gold red effect. So I'm not too worried about overlapping other areas I've just done. This could probably be made black. Okay, to highlight it, I've mixed up some of the cobalt with the black and brown, again about 50-50 overall. I've splayed out the tips of my brush, just running this along the edges. So not only does this give definition to the metallic areas, but it also gives like a brush steel effect. We can use our brush in many different ways to produce many different results. We don't just need to keep the tip all in one piece. We can splay it out to create some really interesting effects. So I'm picking the details out with more steel now. For the hook, just re-highlighting the silver, re-highlight the silver on these pieces. Okie dokie. Okay, I'm happy with what we have so far. Green is the thing next. So for this, I'm going to use the green from the Elven colour set from the Fantasy Games, scale 75. I promise you I'm not sponsored by these guys. Any recommendations I do give are based solely off my own back. I'm not earning any money. I'm not getting anything from these companies. But if you're looking to sponsor, I'll more than happily take what you're giving. Okay, so we've got a few messages. Got a few comments coming through. Nice. I'll check them through later. Yeah, absolutely. If you are looking for commission work, please feel free to shoot me a message through to littlelegendstudio@gmail.com, and we'll sort you out. So, and I did grab a green rather tantalizingly, but I just remembered I forgot to edge this thing. Tell you what, let's just concentrate on these. I'll show you how to do a gem as well today. Okay, so I've got Arfin Jade by scale 75. As the camera focuses back in, good stuff. Okay, so I've got some Arfin Jade at the tip of the brush. I'm rolling this over what we've just done here. And if I'm quick enough, I can highlight it and shade it all in one gasp. So let's get some white just at the very tip. And you know what, let's be cheeky, let's get some Eldar blue, again from the same set. I'm just working that into the bottom. For the surroundings, to give it that glow, I've got some more Orphan Jade. And voila. You can, so I just want to up the highlight a little bit at the top. Make it look like, I don't know, like poison or poisonous gases inside there or something. Green eyes again. I'm only using the cool color palette here. It's all concentrated around those moody blues and greens and purples. Okay, again, if I'm quick enough, white on the underneath. Eldar blue in the top. So Eldar blue is a very, very dark blue color. It has a lot of black in there. It's what we call a low value blue. Again, if you would like to learn more about colour theory, painting faces in general, please feel free to hit me up. Jump on the Patreon if you haven't already, and we'll get you all trained up. Okay. Oh, forgot to do the other side. It's handy while the eye dries. Okay, got a touch of white. Do a bit of a wet blend. Reintroduce the green. There you go. So for eye lenses and gems, I like doing the smile method. So we have an eye lens. Yep. And what we could do for this, we need some black right up in the tip. Then we need to edge highlight it with some white, and we can mix that in with our base color to create a nice blend. Then we need to finish this off with a smile. So we need to grab some white, two eyes. Oh, hold on one moment. Okay, so we need to finish this off with a smile. We need two eyes. Sorry, the paint's still wet. Two eyes, and then a smile. So that's how you do eye lenses and gems in general. I like sticking to the smile. Now, doing it live on camera is another thing. Alright. Let's see if I can get this. So I'm doing this with a number 1 brush, remember, but the size of the brush shouldn't really matter that much. It's all about the tip. So 1, come on you, 1, 2, 2 in the corner, and underneath, 1, 2, and underneath. That's how you do eyes and gems. So we could demonstrate gems here. So black these in. I can actually demonstrate on the Venom as well, because it's a much bigger surface. Okay, let's have a look at how you paint gems on this thing. So we've blacked it in. I want my highlight to exist around here. So I'm just going to pop it in white. You can see how I'm using the brush. I'm going in small, tight circular motions. I want to leave a black portion up here. Okay. That's the first coat. Let's hit this with a hairdryer. Okay, Orphan Jade again, and we need to cover the entirety of this with Orphan Jade. That's a very light, transparent layer we're overlapping, So you should still be able to see the black and the white underneath. I don't know if it could work quick enough. I could grab my Eldar blue and work that up into the highlight. Sorry, into the shadow. Let's get some white underneath here. Let's get some pure white. Okay, let's hit it with a hairdryer again. Just give it another wash over the top. Okay, let's reinforce that darkest point with some pure black. Then we need pure white. And we don't only have to keep to the smile method here because it is a much larger surface area. Why not try out a few more dots? So it's all built around the smile, so we can still see it there, 1, 2 and the smile, but we can add a few more reflection points. There you go. And to finish this off, to make your gems look extra glossy. So this stuff isn't very good for creating realistic water effects, but it is very good at making gems gleam. So you want to get some of this stuff, realistic water effect by Woodland Scenics. And when this dries, it'll create a bulbous outer layer to your gem. So you don't want to use your best brush for this, use one of your older brushes. And just coat the gem with that. You can even do it on eyes. Just be careful enough. Whoop. 1 and 2. There you go. And when that dries, it'll create a bulbous effect and it'll actually look like a glass coating to it. So I'm just going to clean this up, and while I do, guys, if any, so we have a few, well, we have a lot more viewers now, so if you are out there, you haven't commented yet, please feel free to. Otherwise, it's just creepy you watching me paint, not saying anything. Don't be that guy. Rightio. So let's have a look at how to do. Oh, the thumbs come off already. Let's have a look at how to do some glass work effects here. So I want this to look like it's made of glass and we got some liquid coming through there. So I've got pure white. I'm going to sketch out the liquid. Okay. It's very rough notes there. And allow it to dry. Blow on it gently. On it green again. I'm covering this with green down here. Again with Arfin Jade. Right, and while it's still wet, I'm going to work the highlight up to the top in a diffuse highlighting scheme pattern. I'm not that worried about the actual neatness of it at this point. I'm going to get some purple running right down the side, right down the core. I'm going to take some Eldar blue just because it's there and work it into the shadow. Okay. Right, I need a bit of yellow, I think. So I'm going to grab up some yellow. Oh, do you know what? I haven't used this yet, but I'll give this a whirl. Fluorescent yellow. So this will really punch up the look of this, hopefully. Okay, so There you go. Got a touch of this fluorescent yellow. Okay. Gonna add this. There you go. Add this into the highlight. Yeah, I'm not too worried about the actual neatness of the highlight. Okay, good. Work a bit more green in there. Bit of white. So at this stage I want the individual bubbles coming up. So that's what I'm doing, very, very small. Circle dots. Put them in here. Okay, overlap it with the flu yellow again. So I've probably spent more time on this than any other aspect of the miniature so far. Okay, got my green again. Just wipe it down the side. Righto. So I need to top this off. I need to give a very hard edged line to the liquids. So I've just mixed up some Arfin Jade and some white. I'm going to do a very definitive line. I'm going to try and make this as neat as I possibly can. Across the top, here and here. Okay, and then to finish this off, I need a reflection point. White right down the center to give it that 3D effect. A couple of reflection points on the bottom, maybe mixing some blue for the ambient light. There you go, glass vials in 50 easy steps. Okay, so highlight this a bit more. Okay, skin. Let's have a look at the skin now. How do you make skin look necrotic or faded or ruined? Well, it's very easy. You just add a cool color into it. So in this case, let's go with purple. So add in the Elendil Violet. Just giving a base color of this. Again, before it dries, I want to give a bit of texture to this. I don't want this just to be a very neatly highlighted surface. So I've just got some sunny skin tone, and while it's still wet, I'm going to roll my brush into it, or dot the brush to create some interesting patterns. And it may look very immediate right now, but that's going to blend down, that's going to blend in while when the paint sets. While that sets, while that dries, let's have a look at creating some of the bandages for him and the like colour markings. I also need to do these. So how are we looking for time? What have we done? 48 minutes. We're nearly done. Okay, gonna get some, while it's still drying, add some white in there just for the highlight. the same here and here. Just want to highlight the top a little bit more here. Which there's a lot of green on there at the moment. Let's break that up a little bit. Let's bring a bit of magenta in there. So I want to use... this is the colour. Sunset Purple by Scale 75. Just going to pop a little bit of this on the palette. That's much better. Just breaks up the miniature a little bit more instead of having all the green. Again, I can mix a bit of white in there if I'm quick enough, just for the highlight. Okay, let's finish off these. Okay. And for the skin, let's finish it off again so you can see it's blended into one another. I've just gone back to my previous mixture with the Elendil Violet. I've mixed a bit more of the skin tone in there. I just want to even this out a little bit. Add a bit more sunny skin tone. I can work in blotches to create a very, very interesting. So let's add a bit more purple. Yeah. Sorry, excuse me. And there you have it. A Cabalite Warrior in under an hour. Well, less than that because we had to highlight this and we had to go through the process of it. So guys, I really hope you've enjoyed that. For all the new viewers, really happy to have you on board. So happy to be able to bring you this and demonstrate this technique. If there's nothing else, I'm going to bid you good day. Have a good one. Any questions, feel free to send them along to me. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.